All right, well, today's job is a two-system maintenance. It's the first time I've serviced this house. This is about three houses from the beachfront. The beach is about, I don't know, 100 yards behind me. So let's see what we get into. I'm going to show you my process. Especially when this is the first time I've ever serviced the site, I always have the homeowner walk me through where all the equipment is, where the thermostats and filters are located. And in this case, one of the air handlers was enclosed in a soffit, which provided very little service access, and that was going to prove to be a problem later on. And since I know I'll be using my smart probes later on, I go ahead and put them in the supply and returns while I'm doing my walkthrough. Then I start with a very thorough visual inspection and deep cleaning of the indoor unit. There's a lot of photo documentation here. I take a look at things like drain lines. I even tighten electrical connections while I'm there. And eventually, I'm going to pour a bunch of water on top of the indoor coil. And then I'm going to go out to where the drain comes out of the house with the shop vac, and I'm going to pull that water through that drain. I may have to repeat the process until I get clear water coming out. Then I use some Viper pan treatment from Refrigeration Technologies and spray it all over the coil. This uses enzymes that ensure that the biological growth that causes drains to plug up doesn't get started. Then, using a safe disinfectant, I wipe down as much of the inside of the cabinet and its components as I can get to. Then it's time to move to the outdoor unit, where I use some Viper coil cleaner, again from Refrigeration Technologies, to wash the outdoor coil. Now, this usually involves pulling the top and the sides off the units for best access. Then I take it a step further by waxing the outside of the unit to preserve its paint finish. The customer is always impressed when I tell them I did that. Then I move to the electrical connections and make sure they're tight. I do a component visual inspection, and I never leave out the disconnect, because over the years I've seen a lot of disconnects fail because of loose connections and other problems that cause them to overheat. Then I put on my smart probes that go on the outdoor unit so that I can test performance next. I use MeasureQui on every job. I include their fees in my pricing structure so it's no strain on me financially. Then, because I use House Call Pro, MeasureQui actually integrates with it, so there's very little double data entry when it comes to setting up the customer in the site. I still have to configure what kind of system it is so MeasureQui knows what kind of diagnostics to give me at the end. I've learned to go beyond simply checking superheat and subcooling and temperature drop. MeasureQui allows me to also check for total delivered capacity. In addition to that, I also take electrical readings using a power quality meter so that MeasureQui can also tell me how efficient this system is working. In this case, this system is operating at 15 SEER. It's slightly undercharged, which is something I'll talk to the customer about. By the way, I found that getting meter leads with alligator clamps make these electrical tests a lot easier. Now it's time to repeat the process on the other unit. Remember when I told you that that unit was really hard to access? Well, unfortunately, I immediately found it flat out of refrigerant. The customer approved an additional leak check, which is an extra charge, and I unfortunately found a leak in the coil, and that coil is not accessible right now to be replaced. That's going to have to be dealt with. The reporting software that I use is an app called Safety Culture. It's actually made for safety auditors, but it has allowed me to make a very customized report the way I like to do the work in the workflow order that I like to do it in. I can include photo documentation on everything, and it gives me a place to put a pass or fail as far as the condition, performance, and installation craftsmanship of every component. I can even include my MeasureQui screenshots here. I also include an indoor air quality screening using my AtmoTube personal portable indoor air quality monitor. I've also set this report to grade the total system based on not only its safety and health, but its performance and its installation quality. Things like safety and health are given a higher weight than less important things like aesthetics, or if it has quality of life accessories like surge protectors and so forth. But in the end, it grades the system sort of like what a report card would give. And the higher the grade, or below 70%, is considered an F. And usually that's a good opportunity to talk about repairs and other upgrades that would improve the system performance, safety, health, that sort of thing. And then the app creates a report that's very customer friendly that I go over with the customer before I go, so that we can talk about some of the things that I may have found that needs more attention. Then I go into House Call Pro and I create a series of estimates. One estimate is always including everything that I found, and then I create duplicate estimates with a different combination of the items so that I can go over those options with the homeowner. The homeowner wound up approving most of the repairs that I gave him, including replacing that indoor coil, which is actually under warranty. But he'll have to get his handyman out there to create an access in that little soffit because I am not a carpenter and I'm not about to accept responsibility for the outcome of that woodwork. I'll update you when I come back and make those repairs, but for now, thanks for watching, and as always, work safe.